story. Now, Trump's open threat to BRICS over the tariffs. Donald Trump has posted on social media saying, and I quote, "Any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS will be charged an additional 10% tariff."
Trump imposes 10% tariff on Nigeria over BRICS alliance. Trump just slammed Nigeria with a 10% tariff. Not because of a trade dispute, not because of oil, but because Nigeria is aligning with BRICS. And for Trump, that's enough to launch an economic attack. He didn't sugarcoat it. He posted online, "Any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS will be charged an additional 10% tariff. There will be no exceptions to this policy. No exceptions, no warning, just power." Trump isn't just talking tough. He's laying down red lines, and Nigeria just crossed one. The message is clear. If you stand with BRICS, you stand against the United States. And if you stand against the US, you're going to pay. Trump followed up with another statement. He said the United States will begin delivering tariff letters and deals with various countries starting at 12 p.m. Monday, July 7th. He signed it. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Tariff letters, delivered like threats, straight to the doorstep of any nation stepping out of line. And right now, Nigeria is at the top of that list. This isn't about trade policy anymore. This is economic warfare. It's a message to the world. You don't get to build a new global order without consequences. Nigeria has been showing interest in BRICS, and that interest is being punished. Trump is treating BRICS like a hostile alliance, and Nigeria, by association, is being hit with American retaliation. 10% may not seem like much, but it's symbolic. It's the start of a campaign, one that punishes independence, one that says, you're either with us or against us. And Nigeria just chose to think for itself. Across Nigeria, people are watching. Some are outraged, others are fired up. They see the tariff as a slap in the face, but also as proof that Nigeria finally matters enough to threaten global powers. One user wrote online, "So now we're being punished for who we talk to. This is what control looks like." Another said, "If a tariff is the price of freedom, then let them tax us." The reactions are loud, and they're not scared. They're defiant. Nigeria isn't bowing, it's rising. And this 10% tariff might do the opposite of what Trump intended. Instead of fear, it's fueling fire. Instead of silence, it's sparking resistance. This isn't the first time Trump has played hardball, but this time the world is watching closely. Because it's not just about Nigeria, it's about who's next. It's about whether Africa gets to choose its own allies without being punished. If Nigeria is hit today, who gets hit tomorrow? South Africa? Ethiopia? Egypt? Any country that decides to explore outside the US orbit? This is what the New World Order looks like. Tension, pressure, retaliation, and resistance. Nigeria has choices, and this tariff just made those choices clearer. Either fall back into line or move forward with the rest of the world. Trump's 10% tariff is a test, and Nigeria is answering. This moment isn't just a headline, it's history, a new chapter, a shift in how nations interact. No more begging, no more obeying, just bold moves and bold consequences. Trump thinks the tariff will scare countries into backing off BRICS. But what if it has the opposite effect? What if it pushes them in deeper? What if Nigeria, instead of folding, doubles down? What if this moment becomes the turning point, where African nations say, we will not be bullied, not again? The 10% tariff is more than a number. It's a symbol, a message, a line in the sand. And whether you support Trump or not, one thing is undeniable. The world is changing, and Africa is no longer silent. Nigerians are choosing pride over permission, sovereignty over fear, and power over pressure. Trump's move might shake things up, but it won't break Nigeria. It will expose who's really in control and who's pretending to be. This isn't the last time we'll hear about BRICS. It's just the beginning, and the world better be ready. Because if a single trade move can trigger this kind of reaction, imagine what comes next when nations start acting on their own terms. Tariffs or not, the shift has already started. The US can try to slow it down, but it cannot stop it. Africa has seen enough. The era of silent obedience is over, and if Trump thought a 10% tariff would silence Nigeria, he may have just sparked the loudest roar yet. They tried to corner Nigeria with tariffs, but Nigeria isn't folding. It's watching, calculating, and responding in silence. And that silence is louder than any speech. Trump's move wasn't just seen in Abuja. It echoed through Addis Ababa, Pretoria, Cairo, and Nairobi. Every African government with a foot near BRICS is now asking, are we next? And that fear is turning into fuel because the continent has seen this before. Pressure from the West every time Africa steps out of line. But this time, the world is different. The global South is building bridges, with or without permission. And here's the truth. The 10% tariff was never just about Nigeria. It was a shot aimed at every nation trying to escape the dollar's shadow. Trump just happened to fire the first bullet at the loudest voice in Africa. But the effect? It's not control, it's awakening. Because if Nigeria, with its massive population, energy reserves, and cultural influence, can be hit this easily, then smaller nations have even more reason to unite. They now realize that independence isn't just earned, it's defended. Trump wanted to scare Nigeria. Instead, he reminded the continent why BRICS exists in the first place. For too long, Africa's economic growth has come with a leash. Loans with conditions, trade deals with traps, aid with strings, and now tariffs with threats. But here's what they didn't expect. Nigerians aren't begging for the leash to be loosened. They're breaking it. And the people are watching it happen in real time.
I want to believe that the government has the people's best interest at heart. That is what I want to believe as a Nigerian.
They understand the game. They know this isn't about protecting America. It's about punishing sovereignty. When Trump says anti-American policies, what he really means is non-American choices. And now, choosing BRICS has a price tag. But Nigeria is starting to say, that price is worth it. You can't build a new future by obeying old empires. And that's what this moment is about. Not just trade, not just politics. It's about identity. Who decides the future of Nigeria? Washington or Nigerians? And if it's Nigerians, then why does a 10% tariff decide anything? The danger for Trump isn't Nigeria's defiance. It's the inspiration that defiance sparks. What happens when Ghana sees Nigeria stand tall and does the same? What happens when Kenya decides it won't be dictated to? What happens when Africa stops waiting for approval and starts building alternatives? But an Africa that no longer asks for permission,
the children of Congo,
and it's already happening. Joint infrastructure deals, pan-African payment systems, oil for tech swaps with China, railway development funded without the IMF. It's not perfect,
in a bold move
but
shaking up global trade, the latest escalation in the trade war he ignited earlier this.
He knows the dollar is losing grip. He knows global trade is diversifying. He knows the monopoly is cracking. So he's lashing out. And Nigeria just became the first target.
Trump made the tariff
but
rollout
guess what?
A wave of letters designed to recalibrate
unshaken.
America, and his message
Every
was
time
blunt.
the West
Any
imposes
country that
penalties for
strikes back with
disobedience,
tariffs of
the
their
global
own
South grows
will
stronger
face.
because pain
He
creates
argues
pressure,
it's about fairness,
and pressure creates power.
undoing what
Nigeria is under pressure now, but it's the kind that forges steel. And while politicians play chess on global stages, the people are having their own conversation.
he
They're
claims are
asking,
years of
why
lopsided
is it okay
trade
for
deals
America to have
and barriers
allies,
that have
but not for Africa to choose its own? Why
economy
can the U.S.
are
trade
painting
with
a bleak
anyone,
picture.
but Nigeria
Economists
gets
warn
punished for
the
doing
country
the same?
may be swing.
Why is independence applauded everywhere else, but penalized in Africa? Those questions don't go away. They spread, they grow, they radicalize, and eventually they transform. Because a country under pressure stops playing by the old rules. Nigerians aren't just pushing back against Trump. They're pushing back against a mindset, a colonial instinct dressed in economic language, the kind that says, we'll help you, but only if you behave, the kind that says, you're free, but don't make the wrong friends. That kind of mindset has expired, and this tariff just proved it. In fact, It might go down in history as the turning point, the moment Nigeria stopped asking and started acting. You can measure power in tariffs, but you measure dignity in defiance. Trump's letter was a power move, but Nigeria's silence is even louder. And now the ball is rolling. Countries are watching. Decisions are being made. Who do we side with? The old powers who punish, or the new ones building something fresh? The answer isn't simple, but it's urgent. And Trump just forced that decision to the front page. This is a new era, where tweets become policy, where threats replace diplomacy, and where nations like Nigeria have to choose, not what's easy, but what's right. That choice is unfolding now, not in fancy conference rooms, but in the hearts of everyday Nigerians. Trump thinks he's setting rules, but he might have just flipped the board. Because if this is the price for thinking differently, more and more countries will start paying it, gladly. Nigeria is only the beginning, and the empire knows it. The empire is shaking, not because Nigeria retaliated, but because Nigeria didn't flinch. Trump expected panic. He got poise. He expected silence. He got resistance. And that silence from Nigeria's government, it isn't weakness, it's calculation. Because every move now echoes far beyond borders. This isn't just about BRICS anymore. It's about respect. It's about power flowing both ways, not from west to east, but from south to south. If a tariff was meant to scare, it failed. If it was meant to isolate, it backfired. Now,
leaders
African
interested
youth
in
are
the
watching,
development of the
thinking,
agricultural
planning,
sector in
asking
Africa,
themselves,
of
if we can't
Burkinabe
choose
youth
our
who have
alliances
launched
without
a
being
project
punished,
to promote
are we
agriculture
really
in the
free?
country.
That's the question Trump didn't intend to spark, but he did. And Nigeria's silence, it's not surrender, it's strategy. Because this isn't just a response to Trump, it's a message to the world. You can tax our trade, but you can't tariff our future. And that future, it's already unfolding, with or without approval.